Shalom and welcome once again to Shalach Ministries. Today we will explore the fact or fiction of hybrid watcher Nephilims, or the natural offspring of Seth regarding the biblical giants. Throughout history, cultures across the globe have told tales of giants. These stories, passed down through generations, have become an integral part of our collective mythology. They speak of beings of immense size and strength, often living in the shadows of human civilization. These towering figures, often imbued with superhuman strength and a taste for chaos, have captivated human imaginations for centuries. They often appear in the folklore of many cultures, from the towering Jotnar of Norse legends to the formidable titans of Greek mythology. From the frost giants of Norse mythology to the titans of ancient Greece, these stories speak to a primal fascination with beings larger than life. They are frequently depicted as both protectors and destroyers, embodying the dual nature of their power. The Bible, too, contains most notably the figure of Goliath and the enigmatic Nephilim. The Watcher Nephilim are portrayed as formidable adversaries, challenging the heroes of the scriptures. But are these stories purely allegorical, meant to teach moral lessons? Or do they hint at something more? Some scholars believe that these tales may be rooted in actual encounters with beings of extraordinary size, or could there be a kernel of truth hidden within these ancient tales? Could these stories be based on real events, distorted and exaggerated over time? First and foremost, there is not one single direct passage in all of the Bible that ever claims created angels to be the sons of God. That title is reserved for God's human subjects, and to suggest otherwise is simply an inference by the reader. However, this does not stop those who insist on the illusion that former fallen angels did indeed impregnate human women, resulting in Nephilim giant offspring. Even though such an outcome would result in a hybrid human angel being that would have a semi-perpetual and indestructible existence. So much for the fact of David killing Goliath. One must ask, did God really create angels with DNA compatible with that of a human being? To me, this human-angel hybrid nonsense would be analogous to a chihuahua giving birth to an elephant. There's truly revelation in the creation scriptures of the Bible, which declares that everything must bring forth after its own kind. Nonetheless, one celebrated text used to support such a hybrid human notion has fueled much debate about the alleged nature of the Nephilim, and that is the apocryphal Book of Enoch. This ancient manuscript, considered non-canonical, describes a race of giants known as the Nephilim, who were said to have walked the earth in ancient times. The Book of Enoch doesn't shy away from dramatic pronouncements. This ancient apocryphal book is filled with vivid descriptions and bold assertions that have fascinated scholars and enthusiasts alike for centuries. Enoch 7:2 states that the Watcher Nephilim were great giants, towering over the landscape with their immense size and strength, whose height was 3,000 ells. This measurement, though archaic, gives us a glimpse into the scale of these mythical Nephilim beings. An EL is an ancient unit of measurement roughly equivalent to 18 inches. Understanding this helps us translate these ancient texts into modern terms. When translated into modern terms, the text suggests that these beings stood an astounding 450 feet tall. Wow! Just imagine a creature of such magnitude walking the earth. To put this into perspective, the Statue of Liberty, pedestal and all, only reaches about 305 feet. This comparison highlights just how extraordinary and nonsensical these claims are. Could beings of such immense stature have actually existed? The idea stretches the imagination and challenges our logical reasoning of both history and mythology. Such an absurd claim immediately raises red flags for anyone familiar with basic biology and the laws of physics. The sheer size of these giants would pose significant challenges to their survival, making their existence highly improbable. The laws of physics, particularly those related to gravity and biomechanics, place strict limitations on the size any living organism can attain. These laws are fundamental and unyielding, governing the very fabric of our physical reality. They dictate not only the behavior of inanimate objects, but also the structural integrity and functionality of living beings. A 450-foot-tall human would be immediately crushed under its own weight. The immense gravitational forces acting on such a colossal body would cause catastrophic structural failure. The skeletal system, no matter how robust, would buckle and collapse. Bone strength, while impressive, has its limits. In smaller creatures, bones can support their weight efficiently, but as size increases, the demands on bone strength grow exponentially. The bones of a giant human would need to be unimaginably thick and dense, far beyond the capabilities of biological materials. The square-cube law dictates that as an object grows larger, its volume increases at a much faster rate than its surface area. This principle is crucial in understanding why larger structures require disproportionately more support. For a giant human, this means that the mass would increase far more rapidly than the strength of the bones and muscles. Moreover, a giant human's bones would need to be impossibly dense and strong to support its massive structural bulk. The sheer weight of the body would place enormous stress on the skeletal system, leading to inevitable collapse. The muscles, too, would be unable to generate the necessary force to move such a massive frame. Furthermore, the circulatory system would be unable to function. The heart, which is already a marvel of biological engineering, would be utterly incapable of pumping blood throughout such a vast body. The distance from the heart to the extremities would be insurmountable. Pumping blood vertically over such an immense distance would require a heart of incredible size and power. The energy demands on such a heart would be astronomical, far beyond what any biological system could sustain. The heart would need to be a powerhouse, yet even then it would struggle to maintain adequate circulation. Even if such a heart were possible, the blood pressure required to reach the extremities would likely cause vessels to burst. The vascular system, designed for much smaller scales, would be overwhelmed by the pressures involved. This would lead to catastrophic failures throughout the body. And finally, we have the biblical story of David and Goliath recorded in 1 Samuel 17, 1:58. In verse 51, we read how David, after slaying the giant, took Goliath's sword and cut off his head. Then in 1 Samuel 21:9, we see how, when King David was fleeing from Saul, having no weapon, goes to the priest Ahimelech at Nob to retrieve Goliath's sword to fight with. That being said, if the giant Goliath was even close in stature to what is suggested by those who romance the notion of human-angel hybrid Nephilims, then how could David have even lifted Goliath's sword, let alone used it for hand-to-hand combat? As stated earlier, this would make no sense whatsoever. The challenges extend to every aspect of a 450-foot giant's physiology, making such a creature not just improbable, but utterly impossible within the known laws of our universe. From respiration to metabolism, every system would face insurmountable obstacles. The very act of breathing would be a Herculean task, and the energy requirements would be unsustainable. While everyone loves a good mystery, in essence, the dream of a giant hybrid Nephilims remains firmly in the realm of fantasy, constrained by the unyielding principles of both the Bible and science. Thus, the most realistic preponderance of biblical evidence must be that the Nephilim was the natural human offspring of Seth. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this biblical session, and please check back with our channel often.